Hello. In this video, I'm going to be talking about multi-level marketing, which has been on the news a lot recently in my country of the UK, and also in the global aspect as well, as there's lots of companies globally which deal with multi-level marketing, and talk about my story, how it all happened, how it all occurred, how it ended, and also the truth behind these companies in my view, my perspective, and what they're really after. And just before I start the story, telling you the story about multi-level marketing company, I'm going to not state the full name of everybody who I spoke to, as I'll only mention the first name, and I'll only refer to everybody who I mention in first name context. Okay, so let's start off with the story. So I was at secondary school, and there was a friend who I knew called Olivia, and she moved from another country in Europe to the UK, and she was in the same school as me. And I got to know her. She was in some of my classes. Got to know her. Found out some stuff about her. Had some occasional conversations every now and then. And we both left secondary school, and I didn't have any contact with her again for a few years. And then in the end of 2020, start of 2021, she posts a comment on Instagram and she says, what's the biggest thing you are proud of achieving in 2020? And I tell her that the biggest achievement I think I've made in 2020 was when I helped out one of my cousins get a grade A in her A-level maths exam, which she was, before then she was struggling with maths. So I did some lectures, did some tutoring for her, and my cousin ended up getting a grade A in A-levels, which I was extremely happy about, and so was she. So tell Olivia this, we have a conversation, start talking, and about what we did after we left secondary school, as I hadn't spoken to her for a few years. And at some point during the conversation, she says to me, I'm working with some business people, and these business people who I work with, they've been doing some business stuff and they've retired within the space of a few years of joining. And would you like to find out more about the company? So I say to her, yeah, sure, I'd love to know more about the company, because it's a good opportunity. And I thought to myself, as you'll find out later, it wasn't all what it cracked up to be. But at the time, at the start of the conversation, I thought to myself, okay, this is going to be good. She knows some business people, and she's talked about how they were successful. She talks about how they grew their assets, i.e. how much money they gained through this business which they work for. And she now wants me to join and become a member. So I thought to myself, great, let's find out more about it. So she gives me a comment on Zoom, the social networking Zoom, where you Skype call people in the same way you would with Skype, or with what you would do on Messenger with video call, or FaceTime, or whatever. And her, Olivia, and a guy called Naveed, who was Olivia's mentor, joined the conversation. So within a few days of her telling me this, we have a conversation on Zoom talking about the company. So I get into a conversation with Olivia and Naveed. They asked me quite a few questions. The video call is only 20 minutes long. The first 10 minutes, Naveed asked me a bunch of different questions. He's like, what's your current financial situation? Like, where do you want to be in a few years' time, etc., blah, blah, blah. Asked me some financial questions, which I answer openly and honestly. 10 minutes in, Naveed says, okay, I've got to go. So he hangs up. And I then have a conversation with Olivia for the remaining 10 minutes, just catch up, how you're doing, blah, 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 blah. And during the conversation, gets right to the end of the 20-minute conversation, says to me, okay, I'm going to do another call in a few days' time. However, it's just going to be me and you on a Zoom call. And we're going to talk more about the company. And I'm going to ask you quite a few questions, and would you like to join? So I say to her, yeah, that's fine. So she says to me, what time is he available? So I give her the times I'm available. And we agreed to meet up. So within the space of a few days of having this 20-minute discussion with Olivia and Naveed, we have another conversation. So we have a conversation a few days later, and she asked me like a fucking barrage, tsunami questions about everything. Wants to know absolutely everything about my financial situation. She's like, what's your current situation, financial situation, if you had to give a ranking from 1 to 10? So, based on the amount of money you earn at the moment in your current job, what would you view your current financial situation being from a scale to 1 to 10? 10 being it's absolutely amazing, it's perfect, you've got more than enough money to do whatever the hell you want in life, blah blah. And 1 being you've got no money and you don't have a job and your financial situation is crap, you're in loads of debt. What's your current financial situation at? So I say to her, like, 2 or whatever. I just pick a lowball number deliberately and stuff. And she then starts saying to me, what would be your 10 out of 10 lifestyle? If you had millions of pounds and, you were financially secure, what would you be doing? So, start making some... I wasn't really sure what to make at this point because she asked me that question. I was kind of like, okay, that's a bit of a weird question to ask. Where the hell is this going? So I started saying to like, I'd love to have my own house and stuff, and I started telling her about, like, my financial aspirations, which is something which I'd never really thought about or considered before she asked me that question. So she asked me that question, and she asked me a load of other financial questions. She's like, have you ever started a private company before? No. Have you ever had any investments in real estate or housing or anything like that? No. Have you ever traded or done any trading in the stock market? No. And asked me loads of really sort of bizarre financial questions, wanting to know my financials background, my financial situation, which I thought was a bit odd. Like, during the conversation, she was asking me all these questions, and I was like, okay, where is this conversation actually going? Why is she asking me all these financial questions? Why does she want to know all this stuff? So after an hour, she asked me loads of questions about finance, wants to know my financial situation. Gets to the end of the conversation, she says to me, okay, next conversation, there's going to be quite a big gap. The gap which it was 10 days in between this conversation where she asked me a barrage of questions about finance and the next conversation which she was planning on having. And she says to me, but before you go, I want you to read a book. And she sends me a PDF copy of a book called Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. I think that's how you pronounce his surname. And she sends it to me on WhatsApp. And she says to me, okay, this is the book. I really want you to read it. And by the time we have a next conversation in 10 days' time, I want you to get back in contact with me and discuss what you learned from the book, what you thought of the book, etc., etc., etc. And we're going to go through it. So I say to her, cool. She sends me the book and the conversation ends. And then go downstairs and I tell my parents, who I live with, I tell them that, I start saying to this friend, this Olivia, who I was friends with at secondary school, she's told me that she works for this company, this amazing company, and another thing to mention as well is that she mentioned two people, Dom and Karina, and she stated that those people also work for this company, and within the space of 5 years, they both retired, as they built up enough money working for this private company, which she didn't tell me the name of. I ended up finding out what the name of the company is, as you'll find out later. But she didn't tell me the name of this company which she worked for, but they made enough money in 5 years to retire. And they retired at the age of 20, late 20s, something like that. I can't remember the exact year, it's not really relevant. But they retired in their late 20s and they built up enough financial assets and enough money from this company which they were both working for, which I didn't know the name of. And they retired. And, that was like a sort of like opening sort of thing to get me involved in the company, if you like. So go downstairs, tell my parents, say to her, okay, I'm working with this Olivia who I met at secondary school. She wants me to join this company. I don't know anything about this company. But she says it's really good. She says you can make a lot of money doing it, and you can become financially independent and financially secure within the space of a few years of joining. And it's a great business opportunity, and you can become an entrepreneur, learn a bunch of skills, do very well, and retire within the space of a few years of joining the company. So she tells me all this great stuff, and my parents immediately are like, what the hell is this? This doesn't sound legit. Like, if you went to, I don't know, let's say if you went to like a business conference and there was a lot of entrepreneurs there who were already entrepreneurs, then if they asked you for help, then that would obviously make sense because they all have a business acumen, which are all, good at. But if some random person in the street just says to you, hey, I've got this great opportunity, would you accept it? Chances are you'd probably say no, because you're probably like, who the hell are you, sort of thing. And they say that's basically their take on it. And then one of my family members, he does some research on this book which he gave me, which I hadn't started reading at this point because it was only a few minutes after the conversation ended, and she sent me the book, this Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. And he does some research on it, and he finds a review in Amazon, and it says it's a 1-star review, and it's like, don't get this book. If anybody approaches you with this book, run. They're working for a scam. So then a red flag starts to go off in my head, and I'm like, okay, is something weird going on here? I have a contact with a few friends. I tell them the scenario I'm in, say to them, I'm working for this person. I haven't signed anything. I haven't given any bank details of. I haven't paid any money. I haven't signed any terms and conditions or any forms or anything. But they tell me it's a great business opportunity, and what's your take on it? And they all stated that they thought the company which she was working for was a scam, and that it wasn't legit. And I keep doing research on this book, this Robert Kiyosaki book, because I'm starting to get pretty curious at this point. And I find a bunch of YouTube videos on this book, with a lot of people saying that it was very disappointing. There's one review and it said, this is a very disappointing book, etc. And somebody else did a longer video form, which is about half an hour long, and they stated that the people, if somebody approaches you and tells you to read that book, they work for a company called Amway, and Amway is specifically a multi-level marketing / pyramid scheme company. And a multi-level marketing / pyramid scheme company is, imagine if you have a pyramid, what a pyramid looks like, it's kind of like that, sort of. But basically what happens is you have somebody who creates a company, and they then make products, and they then recruit people, and then the people who they recruit, they then buy these products, and the people, like the level above them, if you like, they make money from the sale of these products, which they encourage their recruits to get. And then their recruits get new recruits, and then these new recruits then start buying these products, and the recruits above them, if you like, they then tell the people below them to buy these products. So the people above make money from the people below, and etc. So the new recruits there, they then go down a level, and they then say to these new recruits, buy these products. People above them make money from the sales of the people below them, and the people 2 levels above them make money from the sales of both the people below them and the people below them, etc. Hence forming a pyramid where the people at the top of the pyramid make a significant amount of money, people below the pyramids make less money. And there's obviously, and in order to make money in these pyramid schemes, you have to recruit people and give them the illusion that this company which you work for is great and you can make a lot of money from it. And that's how they recruit people into joining this company. And then once they join them, they then force them to buy these products, because they and their people above them make money from these sales of these products. So that's what a pyramid scheme is, and this woman says that Amway is a pyramid scheme, which, as I've just stated what a pyramid scheme is. And she says, if anybody tells you to read this book, leave. And she stated that she lost thousands of dollars in America, this was, on this Amway, buying these products, thinking that she was going to make it one day and she was going to make loads of money, and didn't occur for her. And she lost thousands of dollars buying these products in the belief, because she'd been told from people above her that this company was great and you can make a lot of money from it, but it didn't work for her. So I do some more reading into Amway, and it turns out the probability of making between 30 to 50,000 American dollars per year is 1 out of every 240 people, which is less than 0.5%. So there's less than a 0.5% chance of making between 30 to $50,000 a year. And then obviously, as the more people you recruit, the less likely it is that you make more than that, for example. So probability of making over $50,000 a year is even less, probability wise. So I find out all this stuff, and my parents say to me, okay, you should do two things. One, you should make a list of questions to ask Olivia on the company, and specifically say to her what is the name of the company you work for, because at this point in the conversation she hadn't told me the name of the company which she worked for. And also to screen share and record the conversation which you are having with Olivia next time you have a conversation with her, so that you can record the audio and listen to what she's saying. So do all this stuff, read this book, this Business of the 21st Century. The book is completely awful. It's full of contradictions. Like, for example, the author states that there's a large percentage of Americans who really want to create their own business, and they really want to become financially independent and make a bunch of money doing their own business. However, then a few pages later it states most Americans in America are unemployed and don't have any money. So how are they going to make a business when they have no money and they don't have any savings, and most Americans are unemployed? Obvious contradiction there. It was written in 2008, 2009, which is when there was a financial crisis, so I will give him that. But even then, that still doesn't really make much sense. And he also talks about network marketing, and he also specifically states in the book that he's had no experience in network marketing, but he has attended conferences, which gives him the belief that network marketing is great, which is another contradiction, because it's all very well and good saying I've attended lots of conferences on something and have a good financial understanding of it, but if you've never actually done anything related to what you're learning about, then how can you claim to be an expert in it? As he only states that he knows other people who are good in network marketing, but he's never done it himself, which is another contradiction, right? And he also states that a third point he makes is he makes the case for anarchy, and anarchy being the belief that basically human beings are intelligent enough to make their own decisions without having the government or anybody like that for them, because all human beings are intelligent enough to make their own decisions in their own lives and make their own paths in life without having the government or the welfare state or whatever to support them, because all human beings are intelligent enough to do that, which is another contradiction, because obviously there's differences in intelligence level, obviously. There's not all human beings excel in one specific thing, as some human beings are very good in some aspects, but they're also bad in other aspects, and that's the same with pretty much all human beings, as there's very few human beings in the world who are great at everything, as there's obviously a sort of like hierarchy, if you like, in terms of what people are or aren't good at, if you like. So that was another contradiction, and obviously not everybody's intelligent in like super intelligent, I mean in the sense that they're able to do their own things and live out their own lives without having to rely on other people, because if there was, then why do people get into debt, etc.? And there's multiple reasons for that, obviously, but that was another contradiction. So find out all this stuff, read all this information, and get to the next conversation with Olivia. So she says to me, how was the book? And I say to her, the book was great, it was amazing, it was really, really good. And I do this deliberately. I deliberately say that this book was a lot better than what it actually was, because at this point I'm fairly convinced that this company is a scam, and that the probability of making money is very small. And obviously I don't want to get involved in something where the probability of making money is so small and there's such a high risk on the company, on the business, that the probability of losing money is far greater than the amount of money making money, percentage of making money. So at this point I really want to leave the company, but I want to leave the company on a bang and inform other people that this company is a scam, and to leave it, to get other people to leave it. However, I'm not at that point right now, so I deliberately sort of fake my way through the entire conversation. I say to her, this company is amazing, what you're doing is great, blah blah blah, saying all this fake information. And about half an hour into the conversation, she shows me this app. She says to me, "Okay, now I'm going to explain to you how the business model of this company works." So I start recording my screen, and she then starts speaking to me about it. And she says to me how the structure of the company works. And she shows me the list of the products which this company was selling. And she tells me how you can make money from it. And she says to me, "Okay, what you need to do is, if you are to be successful in this company, you need to recruit new people. And you need to convince these people to buy these products." And she said that if you recruit 9 people into this company, which she works for, which hasn't told me the name of, you will make an extra £1,000 a month if you recruit 9 new people. And if those 9 new recruits who you recruit, those 9 people, then like in this level, if you like, so imagine if I'm here and these 9 people are here. If these 9 people then recruit an extra 3 people in this level, you will then make the money from the 3 people in this level and also the 9 people in this level, and then you will make £44,000 a month by the people in the pyramid here and the pyramid here buying these products. And at this point I'm like, yep, she's pretty much confirmed this is a pyramid scheme company. And I then press the audio button on pause and stop it. And at this point, yeah, she's told me that if you recruit new people, and then those new people, if you recruit new people on top of that, you will make money. And as long as they keep recruiting people, the people below you, you'll continue to make more money for this company. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, she's pretty much confirmed now that this is a pyramid scheme company. And I don't want to proceed any further, but I don't want to tell her at this point, as I still want to warn other people before I leave the company that this is not what you think it is. And it gets right to the end of the conversation. She makes this amazing point that the next conversation we'll be having will be an education lesson. The education lesson will last for around 2 hours, just over 2 hours, and it will consist of a large group of people, including Olivia, Naveed, Dom and Karina, who retired in 5 years working for this company, and a whole range of other people. So I say to her, right, cool, I'd love to attend that. So at this point, I'm kind of like, yes, this is good. So conversation ends, and then within the space of 2 days between now, when the conversation ends with Olivia, and 2 days later when I have this education lesson, I researched the products which I recorded. So I recorded part of the thing where she was showing me these products on this app, which she never told me the name of, and they all link to Amway, and Amway is the only place where you can buy them. And right at the end of the previous conversation, before we got to this education lesson where she shows me this app, I specifically say to her right at the end of the conversation, I say to her, "What is the name of the company you work for?" And she laughs and she says to me, "What do you mean?" And I say to her, "What is the name of the company you work for?" Like a simple question, And she just responds with, "I work for different companies." That's her final response. She just says, "I work for different companies." And she doesn't specifically mention the name of any of these companies which she worked for, specifically the one which she was referring to in the app. So yeah, so I do some research on these products, which I recorded part of the conversation from, which she was showing me this app. And you can only buy all these products, which I Googled. I've Googled like 5 or 6 of these different products, which I recorded from the conversation. and Amway is the only company you could buy these products from. And I go onto the App Store on my iPhone and look at the Amway app, and the Amway app is identical to the app which she was showing me in terms of the way it was presented. So at this point, I'm like, yep, she definitely works for Amway. And do some research into Amway. And one of the interesting things I found out was that in 2008, the UK government took Amway UK into court, and it went to the Supreme Court. And just for people who don't understand law, UK law more specifically, the Supreme Court of the UK is the highest courts in the UK. So this company was taken to the UK court on the accusation that it was a pyramid scheming multi-level marketing company, and the company went in front of courts, in front of these judges which were appointed, and on the belief that this was a pyramid scheming company, and they listened to the information and they announced that it wasn't a pyramid scheming company, but it was a dodgy. And also, if you do research into Amway in America, for example, you'll also find out that there's similar information that Amway is a dodgy company in America, and it just about borderlines between the gap between sort of like an legal company and an illegal company in terms of its way it's set up, as it was founded in 1959 in America. So find out all this stuff, and 2 days later, the education lesson starts. So join this call on Zoom, and the call starts at 8 o'clock in the evening, and there's about 20 people before the conversation starts at 8 o'clock. This is about 15 minutes before it starts, and as I'm waiting for this thing to start, I see a flurry of messages coming in saying, this person's joined the chat, this person's joined the chat, this person's joined the chat, etc. And the conversation starts, and there is over 150 people in this education chat to learn about this company. And there's going to be Naveed, Olivia, Dom and Karina, and some other people all talking about this company, which they're not going to tell you the name of, because obviously if you're told the name of it, then some people might get skeptical and might start Googling it and researching this company is not legit. And the conversation starts with over 150 people in the chat. So I'm thinking to myself, cool, this is great, this is really, really good. I try to unmute my mic, but I'm not unable to do that because only the host and the co-host is able to do that, and I'm not a host or a co-host. I'm just simply a member of this group chat, and I'm unable to unmute my mic. And conversation starts, and then about 5 minutes into it, Naveed tells me that there's this chat section where you can post comments and chat and stuff into the chat section. So I deliberately wait until everybody else has posted their comments, as shortly after I mentioned that there's a flurry of comments coming in about this company, about what they want to do in 2021. That's what he was saying. He was saying, what do you want to achieve in 2021? And there was loads of people posted messages in this chat saying, I want to meet new friends, blah, 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 etc. So wait until this flurry of messages has all disappeared, and I will then post a long form message telling Naveed, Olivia, and all 150 of these people, some of which probably have the belief that this company is legit and is what they say it is, and is this company where you can retire within the space of a few years of joining because it's amazing, because I haven't done any research into it, and just basically lay it out and say to them, okay, Naveed and Olivia work for Amway. Amway is a company which is a pyramid scheme company / multi-level marketing company. Probability of making money is next to nothing. It went to the Supreme Court in the UK in 2008, and you shouldn't join it. And I then say, for this reason, I'd like to leave this company. So I go with a bang, as I stated, and leave the company. And shortly afterwards, I receive a message on this Zoom call, this educational chat, saying, you've been kicked off by the host. Not too surprising, because when I posted the comment, I could see Naveed's eyes gone left to right, reading this comment which I posted, which was a long form comment, as I mentioned, and left. And shortly afterwards, I received a message from somebody saying that they were very thankful about the fact that I posted that comment in there and warned everybody I could on this chat that this company was not legit and was not amazing, and the probability of becoming super wealthy under this company was very small, and the probability of success was very small, and he was very thankful for that, and I was very sort of happy with myself, because it's like, if I can convert at least one person in this chat of 150 people who would have otherwise gone into the company with the belief that they would make a lot of money from this company, and I've converted at least one person, then that's a great thing, because that's one less person which this evil company is going to make money from. And the truth about these multi-level marketing companies is that they rely on people who are either stupid or naive, or both, to recruit people who are not that well financially, not that in that good of a financial situation, and they deliberately manipulate and brainwash individuals who are easier to brainwash or manipulate into joining this company, and deliberately put out all this positive messaging. You will be very successful if you join this company, you will make a lot of money from it, blah blah blah. And this is all to give these new recruits the illusion and the belief that this company is amazing, and that these people do have a good financial head, and that they have cracked the code, if you like, in terms of how to retire early and be financially successful. And they rely on people who are, as I've mentioned, stupid or naive, to get new recruits to join this company. And especially now with this COVID stuff going on, what's happening in the moment with this COVID stuff is that there's an increase in group of people who are becoming unemployed. And the reason why they're becoming unemployed is because of these lockdowns. And a lot of these businesses, unfortunately, a lot of them are small or medium-sized businesses. And when you're either a small or medium-sized business, the amount of money which you generate on a yearly basis in terms of revenue and profits and stuff will not last you that long if there was to be a significant decline in income or profits or whatever. And the amount of money which you would have in the bank stored away in savings would not be enough capital, if you like, to keep you going for a few months, if in the event that there was a significant shortfall in money, at least in the short term, or maybe even the long term, like we have now, which has been almost a year. And this has resulted, unfortunately, in a lot of people becoming unemployed, which is a very sad reality, obviously, because there's now probably people who are going to struggle to pay, rent or whatever, which is a bad thing. But that's just the situation we're in, unfortunately. There's nothing really do about that. But this COVID situation has definitely made these people who work for these multi-level marketing companies do extremely well and profit and make a lot of money from this stuff, because of the fact that there's been such a bad financial crash from this, and with the lockdowns and everything, that there has been an increase in number of people becoming unemployed, and these multi-level marketing companies have taken advantage of that unemployment and have convinced, as I said, stupid or naive people, or people who are not in that good of a financial situation, to join these companies in the belief that they're going to make a lot of money. But obviously the people higher up know that this is not really reality, and they know that what they're preaching is wrong. And I think it's extremely worrying that there is these companies around, because these types of companies are just sort of pure evil, because they need to deliberately brainwash and manipulate people who are easy to manipulate or brainwash into join these companies, because they think they're going to make a lot of money. And there probably is going to be some people who will make a lot of money from it, but as I mentioned before, the probability is very small. It's less than 0.5%. And so what these companies are doing is absolutely appalling in my eyes. and there should be more sort of information, education about this stuff and how these manipulations can take place to, obviously make most people financially worse off, which is not a good thing. But that is my story on multi-level marketing / pyramid scheme companies in terms of Amway. And as I mentioned before, Amway is just one of a long list of many companies who do this, unfortunately. And the main thing you've got to do is, if you do receive any offers like this, you need to thoroughly research and find out everything about the company before you commit yourself to it and sign up to any things which you don't really know too much about. And do your research, because there is people out there, unfortunately, who will believe this stuff and will join it. And hopefully the purpose of this video is just to educate more people about this stuff and how these manipulations can take place, and just to do more research and more info before you make any decisions on it, and to steer people away from these companies, as I mentioned. Because Olivia and Nivi, they were just like two cogs in this giant machine of like 10,000 cogs, if you like, each cog representing one employee. And they were just two cogs in this giant machine, which makes a lot of money for some people, but makes no money and makes a loss for most people. So that's my story. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video, and thank you for listening, because I apologise it went over a bit. 36 minutes, quite long, but thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you take this information on board as well as other information on YouTube. But thank you for listening, and goodbye.